Generation Why Not? This unique subset of young adults in Britain are looking out for number one, experimenting with who they are and finding new ways to tackle life's challenges. There are over 3 million 18 to 24-year-olds aiming to set their own trends within a society heavily impacted by the recession.
Hello, I'm Dr. Rob Young. I'm a psychologist and I've been working with Bulmers No. 17 Cider to look at Generation Why Not. So people aged 18 to 24 to understand their attitudes. The research looking at Generation Why Not found that generally compared to older people they're much more experimental, much more open-minded in how they go about approaching life. So for example, much more experimental in their use of technology, much more comfortable with taking risks in their career, being much more entrepreneurial.
I think what I try to do differently is create music DIY style.
I was experimenting with my artwork, trying different processes to create new and unique ways of creating imagery basically.
Clothes, I like to experiment with clothes. Different sort of decades, genres, 50s, 60s.
Moving to London, no job, small budget.
Probably my hair, to be honest, I've had red in it and blonde and brown and yeah.
I experimented recently by putting on a comedy night in my front room. I booked a few comedians on Twitter, which was pretty weird in itself. But they came along and practiced their Edinburgh shows and we had a wicked night.
We're going to Paris to meet up with my girlfriend. I've been in the last 2 years 8 times, and just getting to experience a new country, learn their language and experience their culture has been absolutely amazing.
I think this generation has come about for a couple of factors. So the first one is 18 to 24-year-olds are on that cusp of still having some childlike naivety about the world, but now entering mature adult relationships in the workplace. But the other factor is that also, people aged 18 to 24 are experiencing greater risks and uncertainty in the world. So born in the aftermath of 9/11 or growing up in its aftermath, as well as the economic change that are going on. There is no such thing as a job for life. And so these 18 to 24-year-olds are really embracing that.
In order to come up with any kind of new idea, you need to spend a certain amount of time playing around and not really knowing what you're doing.
Sitting in a room with all your friends, getting the music together on your own, not asking anybody how to do it.
I think it's quite important to experiment because you never know what you might be capable of doing.
I think experimenting makes life that bit more exciting.
It's just all about playing around, having fun with stuff, and then you never know what will happen.
Yeah, just put yourself out there and who cares what other people think.
Just live one day at a time. I think that's the best way to live life.
I think Generation Why Nots are going to be really important to the economy and society as a whole, because it's younger people who will really challenge the status quo. So older people will say, well, this is art, this is music, this is business, this is how medicine should happen. Younger people will say, well, why not do something different? So they'll challenge how we deliver healthcare. They may revamp the NHS, politics, how media is run, how businesses should be run. So who knows what this generation will deliver.
If you want to learn more about experimentation, search Bulmers on Facebook.